Good morning, everybody. As I said, my name is David Barclay. I'm one of the business advisors at West Lothian Council. Today's webinar is about some of the funding we've got available over the next couple of years. Some of it's time limited, so needs to be used the next financial year, and then some of it goes into the next financial year as well. So today's workshop, we're going to be talking about quite a few funds. We're quite fortunate at the moment we do have a bit of funding available to support businesses within West Lothian. So today we're going to talk about the low carbon grant, the digital development grant, employer recruitment incentive. Then we've got some other funds that we'll talk about. We've got Alexa, who's going to talk about the parental employment support available to residents and businesses in West Lothian. And we've also got the West Lothian College Economic Development Fund that we'll talk about. So I'll just start with it. So the low carbon grant is obviously to support businesses work towards net zero, really. It's working towards that, greener, obviously more environmental, trying to work towards that, reduce your carbon footprint. The funding is available, so there's potential to fund up to £10,000, so projects up to 20k. Less than that would be 50%. As you can see on the slide there, really projects we've had is things like LED lighting, it can be solar panels, anything really that can reduce your carbon footprint. So we're open to look at applications for that. There is some criteria, so you need to have been training for at least 12 months. Often as well, we would expect you maybe to have some staff just now. There was a minimum requirement of 5, but again, we're open to look at applications. So if you've maybe got a couple of staff or you've got a really interesting project, then obviously come forward and we're happy to look at certain applications. As part of the process in the application, we do look to get a copy of your current carbon footprint. So we work with the Carbon Trust, and they've got a calculator that you can use, and that gives us a base level in terms of where your carbon footprint is just now. And then obviously helping with the grant, we'd be looking for that to come down, obviously, and you're working towards net zero. So that would be part of the application process for that one. So that's a low carbon grant. Another grant we've got is the digital development grant, which is to support really any business looking to obviously any digital type project. So if it's going to help you streamline your processes, maybe it's getting rid of a paper system and bringing in like a PDA type system. Maybe it's an IT infrastructure type project. Maybe it's bringing in new staff and you need new laptops or something like that. Then again, open to look at sort of digital projects. So for VAT businesses, there's funding up to £7,500. So projects up to 15k. Under that would be 50%. And then for non-VAT businesses, funding up to £1,000, again for a project at 2k. So good bit of support there. The eligible cost, as it said, again, we're open, but really digital, anything digital. So it might be a software, it might be a hardware, help you streamline, open to look at things, websites as well. We've even looked at websites. That's going to support you, obviously, to get online. So again, a really good sort of fund to help. So I'll pass you on to Mark, who's going to talk about the employer recruitment incentive.
Yeah, thanks very much, David. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mark, and I'm one of the business growth advisors with Business Gateway, with a particular focus on employer engagement. So linking businesses like yourselves with training and upskilling opportunities, and also to support recruiting new staff. So before I go into the sort of intricate details of employer recruitment incentive, can I just get a quick show of hands if anybody's considering applying for an ERI or a wage subsidy position, as you'd maybe know it as? So there is a few of yous. Yeah, perfect. Right, that's great news. So just to give you a bit of context about the employer recruitment incentive, or ERI as we refer to it, because you know we love an acronym just to confuse everybody. We've got access to funding that will help us to support local businesses to create work for people who are unemployed, underemployed, or to increase the household income of parents with dependent children. And we'll get into a wee bit more detail about that split later. Most people will probably have heard of Steps into Work, the wage subsidy programme. Certainly if you've had a business over the last sort of 5-6 years, within West Lothian, then you would have heard of that wage subsidy scheme. So it's really similar to the Steps into Work programme. There's just some slight changes to the criteria, positive changes, the sort of changes that we hope are a bit more relaxed so that we can more sort of to get back into work and to really help more businesses. So there is some changes from that initial scheme. So we'll deliver this support, we'll deliver this ERI as an economic development team. So it's not just Business Gateway, we'll do this as an economic development team. So it's ourselves, Business Gateway, and the various employability services within economic development. So access to employment and the parental employment support team and a few of the others. So what I'll do is I'll just run through the slides. I think I can control them, David, can't I? Yeah, that's. As I say, they're aimed at supporting local businesses, creating employment opportunities within West Lothian. Successful applicants will receive 50% of the salary of the new employee for a maximum of 40 hours per week, up to 26 weeks. The minimum on this, I think, is about 16 hours, so nothing less than 16 hours. When it comes to supporting a parent, that might be slightly different, and we can deal with that if that is the case. But for the most part, it's between 16 and 40 hours. So the employee, so the person that you're creating the role for, must be a West Lothian resident. There's no sort of leeway with that, even if they stay just on the peripherals of West Lothian, they have to be a West Lothian resident. We're quite strict on that. 24-year-old, unemployed or underemployed. An example there is on a 0-hour contract. 25 plus and unemployed, or a parent with a dependent child. So you can see that the criteria is quite wide, it's quite open. So the chances of you finding someone for a position are quite high. The role must be, as it says there, 16 to 40 hours per week. All roles must be paid the real living wage, which is £10.90 an hour. And that's one of the sort of differences between this fund and the Steps into Work wage subsidy, which was the minimum wage depending on age. So again, that's a non-negotiable real living wage in terms of the rate. The business must be based in West Lothian and have less than 250 employees. So again, a slight change on the old programme in terms of the limit of employees. We've now put that up to 250. So if any of you have got 249 employees, then spot on, you can apply for this particular fund. Oh, was that it? All right, cool. Right. Yeah, perfect. So question-wise, ERI, is it worth taking any questions just now or take them at the end, David, do you think?
If anybody's got any, jump in now. Yeah, I don't know. You can pick it up at the end if not.
Yeah, no worries.
So there's a few other funds that we were going to mention as well, just to give an overview and a highlight. I think, Mark, you were going to talk about the graduate one anyway, because it's linked to employability. So
yeah, you want me to jump in with that now? That'd be easier.
If you want to jump in, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. So the graduate fund, relatively similar to the ERI in terms of it being a subsidy, but it's slightly more in terms of the funding that you would receive. So the clue's kind of in the title, Graduate Recruitment Fund. If you're going to recruit a graduate, then you could potentially get funding towards that graduate's employment costs. So you could receive up to £10,000, but the minimum salary has to be circa 25k plus. So if you can create a position for a graduate at 25k plus, then we would look at supporting that with the Graduate Recruitment Fund. Initially, when we launched this fund, we were looking at 3 categories. So them being the cybersecurity champion, the green champion, or a STEM role. But we'd be willing to consider all applications, whether they touch on those categories or not. So if you're looking to create a graduate position and employ a graduate or someone who has been a graduate in the last couple of years, and you're going to pay them that 25k plus, then just let us know and we can have a look at that application.
Thanks, Mark. I think Fiona's come in with a question there. So I don't know if you've seen that, Mark, in the chat, asking about the criteria for the ERI. So I don't know if you want to just clarify that.
Yeah, sorry, I never seen the question. Sorry, Fiona. Just click on it now. So yeah, you need to fit all of the criteria. So you need to, yeah, I was just making sure I'm off mute there. Yeah, so you have to match all that criteria. So you couldn't live in Edinburgh but pay them the real living wage and all that stuff. They need to. That's the sort of minimum criteria.
I think Fiona's probably meaning, Mark, that 16 to 24 or pay. I don't. You have to be both. I think. I don't.
Oh, apologies.
I think
right.
that's
Okay.
what maybe Fiona's implying, but I don't know if
No.
Fiona wants to clarify. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Fiona. You can take yourself off mute and ask if that's easier.
Yeah, it was on. So it was on the previous slide. Just the split down with all of the different points. So it was like the 16 to 24, and unemployed, but then at the same time, a parent with a dependent, and so it doesn't need to necessarily be that and that. It's a case of that or that.
That's right. You just have to match one of those categories. Yeah, sorry, that makes more sense. The reason why we sort of split it like that, and it doesn't really matter to you guys or your business, but it's just the way it's funded. It's just there's just slight differences in how these roles are funded. So there's no impact on you or how you receive that funding or the application process for that. But for us, it's just how we sort of categorise it. So previously in the wage subsidy programme, steps into work, 16 to 24, we wouldn't consider 25 plus, and it wouldn't matter if they were a parent. And Alexa will talk about this when she updates, but there's additional support for parents as well. So it's just if they match one of those criteria on how we process it, so to speak.
Thanks, Mark. There's another question coming as well about
Yeah, in terms of applying for more than one person. Yeah, every application is assessed individually, so it really depends on the business in itself. So as part of the application process, you'll go through a company assessment, which will be carried out by myself or one of the other growth advisors within Business Gateway. So we'll be looking at your company accounts and your headcount and just looking at affordability. So if you can afford to take on more than one position, then we will consider it. So yeah, you're not necessarily limited to only one. It's more about affordability and the type of roles that you're creating. So sorry, that's quite a vague answer. If you want to apply for more than one, then just ask and we can do it a case by case basis.
Thanks, Mark. So we're going to jump ahead to the innovation grant that I think Lynn you're going to talk about.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I hope you're all well. So this is sort of some of the other sort of pocket funding that we have available for businesses in the local area. And so the three that we're going to talk about today, but I would also like you to direct you to our Invest in West Lothian website, because that's where you'll get all this information written down. And if there's any changes or if there's any other funds, we'll always add it to there so that businesses have real-time information. It's also a good resource for you to check the criteria and everything that's been discussed previously. With all grants, what I will say as well is nothing can be retrospectively claimed for, so you can't have done the project and then say, you know, I would like to apply for the grant. So just bear that in mind. So for example, with our innovation grant, this is sort of between 2 and 5k to support sort of business improvement, and innovation is basically anything that's new or will improve in the business. That's so even if you've got a sort of existing process but you're going to significantly improve that, that can be classed as innovation. So an example of some of the projects that's previously been supported is, you know, changes in recipes to some of the product offering at a food company. Same with some of like the local brewers as an example of maybe innovation in terms of what they're offering in terms of their product. And again, we'll look at most aspects of these project costs, and that can be around feasibility studies, testing your idea, testing new markets, and we can help not just with the funding, we can have access to market reports, you know, and it's really about understanding what your aims and what your idea is, and we can sort of hopefully match fund some of the sort of project costs with that. So that's 2 to 5k support, and it usually works between 30 and 50% intervention. So yeah, that's a really good one for businesses, especially there's sort of no sliding scale, so you can be a sort of new start business or an existing business just looking to move forward and sort of improve your chances of business growth. Another example is our trade development grant. Now this is up to 2k, and we will look at all sort of project costs, but it's usually up to £2,000, and this has usually been used by business in the past to attend a sort of trade show event. Now this has got to expand your reach over your local market, and that usually means at least into sort of the wider UK market or international markets, and businesses use that, and that can cover some of your costs of either exhibiting or basically attending trade shows abroad, but we will look at any sort of projects that will basically help you move into new markets and move out of your sort of local market, if you like. And then finally, we've got cybersecurity. Now this is something that's been going around for a while, and we recommend for businesses to at least apply for this or have a look into this, and it's up to £1,000 of support that we do locally. There used to be a national scheme that also sort of helped businesses achieve their sort of cyber essentials accreditation. And what this does is help businesses, and there's a lot of free support in this area as well, but it really does help businesses prevent sort of small-scale cyber attacks, and it starts them on the process to make sure that they've got that cyber security, which obviously is a huge business risk, and it's not obviously just large businesses that are being targeted. So we've got support there, which is £1,000, and that's usually aligned with your cost to achieving either cyber essentials or cyber essentials plus. So again, all the details are on our website, but if that's something that you've got concerns in that area, we would always happily have a chat, discuss what supports that we can offer and what's out there in the wider market as well. So that's everything. If anyone's got any questions, please just let me know.
Excellent. I don't think there's any questions just now, maybe pick them up at the end. The next funding and support we're going to talk about is the parental employment support, which I think Alexa is going to come in and talk about.
Yeah, thanks, David. Hi, my name is Alexa Davey. I'm one of the team leaders for the Access to Employment team, and I oversee the parental employment offer. We have a couple of offers that are relevant to businesses at the moment. Firstly, we have our micro business offer. This is for any parents that are thinking about starting up self-employment. We would offer them £2,000 towards training, equipment, materials, anything that they state would help them in order to be able to start trading as self-employed. We offer this in partnership with Business Gateway, so it would mean the person working with Business Gateway to do a business plan, and we would have to have support for Business Gateway to say that they think that the company would be profitable if we added this money towards training or materials. So that's kind of our first offer for anybody that's looking to become self-employed. For small businesses that are already trading, but again, the owner is a parent, if they're able to say, if I went on a training course or if I could buy a certain piece of equipment, I would be able to increase my turnover. And again, Business Gateway supported that notion, then we would be able to offer up to £2,000 again towards purchasing equipment or going on training, and it would just be a case of working alongside our Access to Employment parental advisors and also working with the Business Gateway team. As an employer, you could also look at the fact that if you're employing a parent, they may be entitled to an individual training fund from the parental employment, which again is up to £2,000. And what we would need is you as a business to say, if my employee went through said training, I would be able to increase their salary because they would be able to do more for me as a company. The full purpose of parental employment is to increase parents' household income. So for us to be able to approve any form of funding, we have to know that we will be improving a family's income through the training or you know, whatever it is that we purchase for a small company. It may be worth noting as well that we are currently out to tender for £570,000 for anyone that could provide in-work placements to parents, that could offer 26 weeks of in-work placements. We're also offering that money towards sectorial training. So in the past, we've had companies approach us and say we would be able to put people through, for instance, their HGV license. So we're currently taking any bids without to tender, and that's on the PCS system. So if anybody thinks that they would be able to offer this kind of training for parents, then please have a look. That tender is due to close on the 6th of October. And finally, just to reiterate what Mark had said about the ERI, we are currently offering for parents a employer recruitment incentive of 50% of their salary based on a minimum of the real living wage. And there is slight flexibility for the parental part of that funding, in that what we would like is to see employers offering family-friendly hours and being flexible about employing parents. So that may be that a parent would say, I can only work X amount of hours because if I work over that, then my housing benefit, I'm going to lose that, and essentially I wouldn't be better off. We can do all those calculations for them, and it's about employers looking to be flexible when they're offering parents work. We do have 7 now priority groups for parents. So if I'll go over what those groups are. Firstly, a lone parent, a parent with a child under the age of 1, a parent of 3+ children, a parent with a disability or who has a disabled child, a parent from a minority ethnic family, a parent under the age of 25, and we also have a minimum income calculator. And if a parent falls into one of those categories, then they would certainly be entitled to any of our funding, including support from our employment advisors. I see that there's some questions coming through already, and I'm happy to take any questions. I'll go through the chat and answer any, but also our information can all be found on the Invest website as well. And if anybody wants, they can take my contact details and contact me at a later date if there's anything else they'd like to discuss. So I'll go into the chat.
Thanks, Alexa. Yeah, I think there's a couple of questions in there, so I don't know if you want to maybe.
Yep. Can it be in addition to another employed position they may have? Could you clarify what you mean? Sorry.
Yes, it's actually, I was going to bring my wife into the business as an employee.
Okay.
For the new business I have. But just currently, she works in the DAS unit at a school at the moment, which isn't the paid job anyway. And obviously she would like to retrain into something else and work as part of my business, so I don't have to pay, for example, a graphic designer. She wants to train to be a graphic designer. Is that possible to use this scheme for that?
Yeah, I mean, that would be about her getting in contact with us and saying, I am looking to change my career. and if I could go through this training, then I would be better off because I would be able to do a job at this salary grade. And we would have to look into that and make sure that that would be the case for her. You know, that if we were able to put her through some sort of training, she would then become qualified to do the job that you wanted. And there's a bit of research that has to go into that. But certainly if she is an eligible parent, then she would be, you know, we would welcome her to get in contact, and we could certainly discuss progressing her career if that would make her off better financially.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Are these able to be sent out? Sorry, Fiona, is it more of the information about the parental employment support that you're looking for?
Yeah, so it was when you were running. So hi, Alexa.
Hi.
It was when you were running through the different parts as to over 3 children.
The eligibility criteria.
Must be under 1, that side of it, that would be able to be sent out, but then also your contact details as well.
Yeah, fab. What I'll do is, if I've got time before this finishes, I'm not sure what's on after me, I'll put it into the chat and then it'll be there.
Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else? Great, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Alexa. So I think Angela's just joined us from the college, so just good timing, Angela, because we're going to talk about that fund next. So I don't know if you want to just come in and give us an overview.
Will do. My dog just started barking at the same time. Sorry, I'm late. I only opened Mark's email like 5 minutes ago, so just joined. I haven't prepared anything. So the Flexible Workforce Development Fund is a Scottish Government fund which comes out to levy payers and SMEs, and it allows you to cover training. For SMEs, it's up to £5,000 you're eligible for, and we offer a suite of courses which you can pick from. At the moment, we're just waiting on this academic year's fund to come out. Normally August, September, but last year with all the issues with the budgets with Scottish Government, it wasn't until December. So I think we're still on the waiting game at the moment to find out when that's coming. But what we have done in conjunction with the council is we've put together an economic development fund. So again, SMEs are eligible for £5,000 worth of training, and we have a little brochure which shows the courses that the council can cover for you. So it's accredited training, or it can be sort of IT training, or we do some mental health, first aid in there as well, management qualifications. And what I'd like to do after this, if it's okay with everybody, is just send you the information on what you can do and what you can actually get covered. It's quite a simple process to apply. There's an application you need to fill in, and the council also ask if you could do a training needs analysis for your business. So that doesn't have to be War and Peace. We're looking at, I can send you quite a simple template to fill in. You send that back, the council approve it, and then we will organise the training for you. Most of the training's online, so it doesn't affect you as in having to come into the college for a day, etc. So it's a bit more fitting into your working day. So hopefully that's of interest to some of you, and I'd be happy to send on the information. Does anybody have any questions on what kind on the fund that you could, or what you think you could use it for? No.
Yeah, I think for probably is my company is building. I'm going to look to get in other areas whereby, you know, I need to get more probably social media training, for example, and more about marketing qualifications.
Right. I know we do offer things like that, but I also know the council offers some free training on some of the social media stuff that you might be able to tap into as well. So I don't know if you guys want to explain what you get.
That's right, Angela. So yeah, Business Gateway, we have a lot of workshops on social media and marketing. So obviously we can share them with you, Murray. There's a whole array of workshops, LinkedIn, Facebook, all about social media marketing. So that might be a good place to start. That's all free. We can obviously share that information with you. On the Invest West Lothian website as well, we've got some events and workshops as well. So we can share that with you, Murray. That's no problem. And as Angela said, I think we can get the brochure round to everybody, which gives an overview of the whole suite. I think it's like there's Excel, Word, various different management. There's lots of good courses on there, so we can get that shared with everybody.
We're trying to add in some more industry specific. So you're talking about building, Murray. So I know we're looking at IBT, which is insulation building treatments. There we go. So we're starting to bring more specific courses onto the brochure, which might be of interest to you as well, to add to what you can offer as well.
I think I've used Business Gateway courses and some of the digital courses in the past, and they're very, very good. I think it's a case of just keeping and tapping into them, but it's more for the qualification at the end of it, sort of thing. A Business Gateway course is great, but it's nice to take it to the next level.
Yeah, and I would say if you did the courses first through the Business Gateway, then you could then do a qualification with an accreditation at the end of it. So I think that's a good way to do it, because that'll give you a starting point as well.
Right, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mark, you've got you.
All right.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was just wanting to add the brochure of courses is amazing. There's such a variety of courses, and there's things like diploma in digital marketing, and as Angela said, a lot of that stuff can be done online and can be done from home. So it's well worth taking the time to go through the brochure, because there is a lot of courses on it. Even if you're sort of future planning and thinking long term, you know, what sort of courses would you like to see in that, then feed that back to us. You know, if there's anything glaringly obvious missing, you know, if there's something on there that's not being included, and everybody comes back to you and says you would love this type of training, then just let us know that, and we can try and, you know, be flexible in terms of what's on offer right now, but in terms of building for the future, it's only as good as what you feed back to the group.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. That's what we're doing with our brochure at the moment, is we have gone out to a lot of employers that we work with and asked what would they like to see going forward. And we've also spoken to our trainers to see what is new to them, what can they offer, and adding that into it as well.
Yeah, and I think it's quite a common issue for people to face when they're wanting to retrain and upskill, is that funding, because a lot of the courses, not just at the college, but a lot of other accredited courses can be quite expensive. So when you think that you're getting 5k towards that, it's a bit of a no-brainer. So it's well worth exploring, even if not for right now. Have a look through it, get in touch, a bit of future planning, engaging with the growth advisors at Business Gateway, right, this is where I am just now, this is where I want to be, how can I get there? And it isn't always about recruiting people into those positions, it's sometimes about retraining and upskilling your existing staff. And that's what this particular fund really helps with, retraining and upskilling your existing staff. So explore it and get all your questions over to Angela and your feedback and stuff as well. It's well worth doing it.
I'd be happy to have any sort of Teams chats with anybody individually if you want me to talk you through a training needs analysis or the application or what sort of courses you would like to do. Happy to do that. So again, my details can be shared, or I can put them in the chat just now, and you can just get in touch and we can see what we can do for you. Sorry, the dog's appeared. Sorry.
Thanks. So yeah, I think what we'll do, obviously, we can maybe get an email out to everybody summarising some of the support and the links and the contact details. We can obviously organise that at the end. So the next slide we've got is questions, but there's obviously been a lot of questions as we've gone through. Has anybody got any final questions or anything they want to ask? Or
it would, rather than typing it,
yeah,
if we were unsure of what kind of category potentially the funding of us applying for, who would be the best person to speak with?
what I was going to say to everybody, I mean, if you've already got a business advisor, go back to your own business advisor. But if not, we can arrange for you to meet with a business advisor, because obviously, as you can see, there's so much funding just now that we have, that obviously it's finding out what you can and can't apply for and what the best route is. So I would recommend speaking to your business advisor again, or if you don't have one, we can organise an appointment with one for you. Do you have one just now, Fiona, or have you got an advisor just now?
I do.
Yeah, Do you know? So probably the first protocol I'd recommend maybe going back to them, having a wee chat with them. So we've obviously got a lot of us on here are from the growth team, but there's the startup advisors as well. So there is other funding as well that we've probably not mentioned today, depending, obviously everybody's at different stages of their business. So the link at the moment, obviously the Invest in West Lothian website, it's got a lot more information on the other funds and things as well. But yeah, I'd probably say first protocol. Is there a specific fund you're interested in, or is it, Fiona?
There are a couple there that I think
Right.
that there is the potential for.
Right.
But I do know that there were stipulations that you had to have 5 or more staff.
Yes, so some of them do, as I said, there's maybe a bit of flexibility. It depends on the project and things like that. So again, as I say, speak to your business advisor, and then obviously they can take that forward with you to see if we can support it.
Thank you.
Has anybody got any final questions, or is there anything they want to ask, or ask? So thanks everybody for coming on then today. I appreciate everybody taking part and asking questions. As I said, I'd recommend we'll get an email out to you. We can summarise some of the support in terms of contact details and how to follow up. We can send you links to some of the funding that we've mentioned and the courses and that Angela mentioned, Alexa's information about the parental support. And yeah, my advice would be contact your advisor again to have a chat, go through obviously the different funds, and then we can see about supporting you with the relevant ones. Yeah. Okay. Thanks everybody for today. Thank you. Yeah, and we can share the slides. Yeah, we can do that. No problem.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank you.
everybody.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.